Hello and welcome to Today's Entrepreneurs. I'm Janet Zappala. Thank you so much for joining us. You know, this is the place where if you're on the show, you've made it as an entrepreneur. And our two guests are just that. They are wildly successful entrepreneurs. They've been doing it for years. And in fact, over the course of their careers so far, they've sold over $3 billion in real estate. Welcome, Peter and Judy Corrente from Pacific Sotheby's International Realty.
Thank you for having us.
In La Jolla, California, by the way. That's not a bad gig. So you've sold over many, many years. Peter, let me start with you. Obviously, real estate for both of you has been a passion. When you started years ago, what made you decide to enter the world of real estate?
I was working too hard running an engineering division of Raytheon Company, and decided that my investments in real estate were really fun, and I was getting good returns because with real estate you get leverage that you don't get in the stock market.
So what you're saying is you were having fun, which is really important if you're going to be working at something for a long time, and the other thing is you were making money, obviously, which is really important. So that began your passion. You felt that it was sort of by accident then. I mean, you started doing it and you realized you really loved it. Am I right?
That's correct. It was not part of an original long-term plan.
And I guess it goes back to that adage, you know, find something you love to do in life and you won't work a day. And I think that pretty much pertains to both of you. Judy, what about you? Real estate is a passion. How did you start?
I started actually just in business, and I went into commercial real estate, which I really liked a lot because, you know, you just find the property and find the investor and you've got it sold.
But you make it sound so easy. It's not that easy. There's got to be a formula, you know, Peter and Judy together, there's got to be a formula for success.
I think the best thing is that we make the people happy. And it's one of the biggest decisions that they'll ever make in their life.
That's right, that's right. Buying a home is probably, well, certainly one of the biggest.
Yes.
And I guess your history has been with commercial. Certainly you started with that. How has that differed from people who are buying their homes?
Well, it all plays into the same thing because we still do commercial. But it is rewarding to see a family, you know, especially if they start out and they're just joyful about their new residence. And that's very rewarding to us.
Did you have a vision when you were starting out 39 years ago, Peter, that this is where I want to be 39 years from now, selling $3 billion worth of real estate? Could you even envision something like that?
I had no idea, but my real estate company started out and finished really as a commercial real estate company. I met my wife because she was my broker in the Republic of Texas. And I knew they would never have rent control. She sold me 2,000 apartments. I had to marry to save the commissions. I'm a businessman, and we've been happily paying for each other ever since, 30 years.
But also working together. You know, a lot of people would say, well, is it good for a husband and wife to work together because you're always with each other? How do you make that work, Judy?
Well, it's good for us because we have different personalities. And
so we know that Peter's the joker.
Right, he handles one side and I handle the other side. So it works, everything works.
So you're saying Peter handles the
negotiating.
Okay.
And I handle all the technical stuff in the office, and I work with the women, you know, on the side. So it works.
So really it's kind of like you have to have one and the other together to make it work.
It's a synergy.
It's a synergy,
The one and
exactly.
one equals about 14 in our case.
I bet. When you sit here and you look at all you have, I mean, do you think about where you started, you know, how it all began and how you were you ever struggling, Peter?
Well, I was. I grew up quite poor in an 800 square foot house, and just worked my tail off and now live in an oceanfront house in this gift of mankind called La Jolla.
It's the American dream.
It is.
It is.
And you are proof positive that it can happen. And Judy, what about you as you look at where you started and where you are now?
Well, I mean, we started out, you know, on retiring for 5 years, and then we went back to work, which is fine. We were young enough, we could go back to work. We're not afraid of working.
So obviously you're still working, so you took some time off, to do what?
5 years to travel the world. He wanted to show me the world. So I'm so glad that we did.
He's such a romantic.
Yeah.
So would you say that Peter swept you off your feet?
Oh, absolutely. It took him 3 years, but he did it.
3 years? What took you so long, Peter?
Well, I had to save to buy a broom to sweep her off her feet.
I can see why you're happy. He's got a great way about him. He's charming.
He makes me laugh.
So important in any relationship. So we see now why you've done this, because it became a passion, and it was something. Was it a necessity though at the outset, Judy, for you?
Yes, absolutely.
It was.
Yes.
But you chose real estate because you've done a lot of different. I know that you were in a beauty. You were, I guess, not Miss America, but certainly Miss Texas in the Miss America pageant. That's huge. So you had a lot of things going. That's not work.
No.
Well, when you're as beautiful as you are, you don't have to work. But so you, at that point, did you always know you wanted to do real estate?
No, I didn't. I didn't.
And so where was that turning point?
Not until I went into the commercial real estate that I really liked it. I really enjoyed it.
All right. And who drove you to that point to go into commercial real estate? Who put you on that path?
Just myself. I knew somebody that was in it, and they said, "Do you want to come and, try to be a realtor?" So I did.
Amazing. All right, Peter and Judy Corrente from Pacific Sotheby's International Realty here in La Jolla, California. They have quite a story today. Huge, huge in the real estate business, and obviously extremely successful entrepreneurs. When we come back on today's Entrepreneurs, we'll talk about what you're doing today, because that's a story unto itself. We're back right after this. Welcome back to today's Entrepreneurs. I'm Janet Zapala. My special guests are Peter and Judy Corrente from Pacific Sotheby's International Realty here in La Jolla, California. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Let's talk about where you are now with your careers. We've talked about that you've been in the business for many years. You've sold over $3 billion worth of real estate over the course of your careers. What are you doing right now, Judy?
Right now, we're actually selling real estate again. Yeah. I mean, that's what we do. And it's a good market. It's on the upswing. So that's what our focus is.
Okay, so again, timing is everything, right?
Exactly.
Especially with real estate. So as you say, the market is now on the upswing again. Time to get back into it, because you do take some time off, right? You travel and that kind of thing. But you also have to capitalize on the fact that the market is good. Peter, how long is the market going to stay good? Or is it how much better will it get? Because people are just so nervous about it still.
Well, the thing is that life in general is a sinusoid, and the distance between the peaks historically, if you go back 50 years, has been about 7 years between the peaks of real estate. So the valley occurs like 3.5 years later, and then it recovers about 3.5 years, and then it goes down again. However, this time, because of the calamity in the stock market in 2008 and the fall off in real estate since 2007, has made it a little longer than normal. We have been in a downslope for at least 5 years instead of 3, and now we're climbing out of the downslope. Now, because of the high value of our property, there are more people that are hesitant to invest huge amounts of money again, and the high end recovers slower than the more affordable stuff.
Right, but you somehow are able to hang in there. Is part of that because you are a team, you work together, you help each other, you have your strengths, Judy, and you have yours, Peter. Is that what helps keep you afloat?
Yes.
Well, I think so. Sure.
It does. And also we've hired people, so we now have a team of 7 people, and they tend to specialize in lower products than we do, which helps smooth out the field.
So you have a balance then.
Right.
Okay, and so how does that help you and your business, Judy?
Oh, it helps quite a bit, because right now the lower end is it's going like fire. So, I would love to get as many condos and lower end priced houses that I could to sell and have people buy, because we have a lot of lookers and buyers now.
And that's an exciting time for you, isn't it? Because it hasn't been that way in a while.
No.
Yeah, and I think I'm very set on the fact that if you're going to specialize in high-end real estate, because it doesn't last all the time. You must have rainy day accounts that allow you to live your lifestyle even though the income at that particular moment cannot support it. And fortunately, we have done that for every return. We put money away.
So important to do that, really, in life. What would you say if you had to classify a niche that you have, Peter, what would be your niche?
The high-end real estate market is our niche. We are high-end in La Jolla. It's so crazy. The low end is anything under $2 million. The mid-range is 2 to 5, and our best niche is probably 5 to 15.
And Judy, yours, are you still working in commercial too?
We do commercial. We have a lot of clients that, wanting to sell and buy commercial as residential. But also I think another niche that we have is being developers, that we can help people see what they can do with the product. If they have a property, say, oh, I don't like this room. Well, we can help them, develop and see it in their eyes what can be done.
What are people coming to you most for? And obviously it's your integrity. You've never used a lawyer over the course of your career. That's unprecedented. Is it your honesty, your integrity? What is it? I mean, I know you have a formula for this. There's got to be certain things, ingredients that you feel are, luck is good. It's got to, but I know integrity is one as well.
Yes.
Well, I think you have to have a certain degree of intelligence. You have to have industry. You have to work your tail off. And you have to have integrity. And those 3 I's are all important. But without one letter, L, it can't happen. You need luck. I don't care how good you are, luck is a factor in making money. And there's no question in my mind about
I
that.
totally agree with that. And some people say, well, the harder you work, the luckier you get.
Probably some truth to that. You give yourself more opportunities to get lucky.
So you happy where you are right now?
Yes,
Yeah.
very much.
I love the house.
What's not to love about the house? I mean, you've got views everywhere of the Pacific. It's gorgeous. What do you love most about this house?
It's very easy living. It's one story basically, so it makes it easy. There's just the 2 of us. All our children are gone, and we really enjoy it, especially the views. You never get tired of the views.
And that sea breeze, doesn't that
Yes.
keep you young and vital, just breathing in that air?
Very
Ask
healthy.
me in 10 years.
Okay, I'll come back in 10 years. But I'll tell you, it's just, you're living in paradise, but you created it. You work hard. And I think people need to understand that anybody can do anything, but you have to work hard, don't you?
You do.
Do you consider yourself lucky? Have you been lucky over the years?
Yes, there's a certain amount of luck, and starting out living in an 800 square foot house in New York to living in this paradise today, and there had to be some luck involved.
The American dream, and then the fact that you two found each other.
Yeah,
Very lucky.
that was lucky.
The luckiest of all luck.
All right, so obviously you're living the dream, you're enjoying your lives, but what about the future? We're going to find out what's on the agenda future-wise for Peter and Judy Corrente when we come back right here on Today's Entrepreneurs. Don't go away. Peter and Judy Corrente from Pacific Sotheby's International Realty in La Jolla are our special guests today. Super successful entrepreneurs. Welcome back. We talked about your history. We talked about your present day living. And now we're going to talk a little bit about your future. Okay, I don't have a crystal ball, but I bet you could shed some light on where you'd like to see yourselves going in the next few years. Peter?
Well, I was hoping you'd ask her first.
Okay, Judy? That's all right. Peter?
Well, the thing is that we're working beyond the years that I had expected to work, but I just enjoy it. I love helping people. As I say, your success is our only business, and I like contributing to people's success. So I don't know that we'll ever really hang up our everything on a hook and not pursue some form of work. We also are active in various charities. My wife arranges those. We have a son who's in the construction business. I'd like to get him another good-sized project. I would like to continue traveling the way we used to travel when we were retired, and go 100,000 miles a year, different places, and just have a good time. That's what my future wants to be, and it's just to have a good time in whatever you do.
And that's so important. If you have that mindset, really you can't be unhappy for too much of your life if you have that kind of attitude.
As long as you're healthy.
As long as that's the number one thing.
Absolutely.
Judy, I know you and Peter both give back, and you're very much into charity work. Tell us about giving back, the importance of giving back, and what charities you work with.
Well, the main charity I like is Promises to Kids, because that gives the children, the foster children. And also I have a special place in my heart for the veterans. So I really try to help them out, and I'm going to be going up to the hospital and helping the war veterans from Afghanistan, because I think I can do that. You know, a lot of people think it's a little bit stressful, but they need to know that people out here care about them.
Absolutely. So that's your passion.
Yeah.
Why is giving back so important to you and Peter?
Oh, it's just part of everyday living. I mean, I think that's part of what people have to do. And this is a community that gives back all the time. If it's not just the city, we give back to the city of La Jolla. We try to keep it going.
Police and firemen.
Yeah, we just really try to do a lot we can here.
That's terrific. That's terrific. It's very inspirational. You share your time, you share your wealth. What about your wisdom, Peter?
Well, one of the things that I mention to many people who often come up and say, oh, I can't do that, I'm too stressed out. I tell them I wrote a paper that says stress does not exist. It is but a manifestation of your mind. So when you're using that, it's really an excuse for not doing something. So I try to find out what it is that's behind their excuse for not doing it and help them get over that little obstacle that they were calling stress. Because I truly do not believe in stress.
We know that stress can really do harmful things to our psyche, our overall health, so it's a great way to look at it. That stress really doesn't exist but in our minds, and we can control that.
Right.
Let's talk a little bit about tips and advice for aspiring entrepreneurs who want to follow in your large footsteps. Judy, what would you tell them?
Well, I think that, like Peter said, you have to put away your money. And I think investing, I don't care if it's real estate, for us it's real estate to invest. But if it's stocks, bonds, whatever, you have to start out and really think about your future. And that's the main thing, starting out. But we love to invest in real estate, fix up a little place, and then resell it, and then start over, and then you take that money, and then you go higher.
Peter, what would you say?
Well, I like real estate because it's to me, the safest investment as long as you have a rainy day fund, and the returns are different than can be obtained most any other way. If you have a $200,000 investment and you put it in the stock market and you make 10%, you say, wow, I had a good return. Well, that 10% is $20,000. If you put that same $200,000 in a property with 20% down, and the property appreciates 10%, you make $100,000. So you made 50% on your money instead of 10%, and that's why we believe in real estate.
All right, and what would you say are, if you had to just give us one line about the formula, what would people have to know to be able to reach the pinnacle of success in the world of entrepreneurism? What would you say that is, in a line or two?
Well, I think that if you're into real estate, location counts, and I keep going back to having the rainy day account. If you buy things and have a capability of holding it even in a down market and are not forced to sell, there's almost no way you're going to lose money.
Any secret or secrets to success, Judy, that you'd like to share at this point?
Well, I think that you have to be willing to take risk.
That's true.
And a risk is getting a loan and taking a house that's a dog and you fix it up, and that's a risk.
Oh, that's a risk is right. And people have that fear. It's like,
They
oh
do.
my goodness, I'm going to lose everything if
They
I
do.
do this. Where do you draw the line? You know, when you say, well, I'm fearful and I'm also pragmatic and I don't think I should do it, or you just kind of throw caution to the wind and just jump.
You call us and we'll help you.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Giving back. I love it. Peter and Judy Corrente, thank you so much again from
Okay.
Pacific Sotheby's International Realty. I
Thank
couldn't have
you.
said it better myself. For today's entrepreneurs, I'm Janet Zappala. By the way, if you'd like to be on the show, please check out our website. Thanks for watching. See you.